Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Gevard. I'm going to talk to you about our third science lesson. We're talking today about animals. We've been moving into the study of biology. Remember, biology is the study of living things. So we took all these pictures and we separated things into living things and not living things. And then we took all the living things, and some of them were pictures like these, and we separated those into groups, and we separated them into animals. This was the second lesson, number 2, animals, and we separated them into people, and we separated them into plants. So we had 3 groups: plants, animals, and people. Then we got rid of the people. We said we'll study that a different time. And we got rid of the plants. We'll study botany a different time. And we just decided to study just animals. And I said the study of animals is called what? Do you remember? Biology is the study of all living things. But the study of animals is called zoology. Do you hear the word zoo in zoology? Now, scientists love to put things into groups. They love to say, all of these things are same, and they go together. And all of these things are same, and they go together. So they love to put things into groups, and they love to do that with animals. So today we're going to be scientists, and we're going to take some animals, and we're going to talk about 2 groups that we can put all the animals on the whole earth. That would be a big group of animals. Let's imagine we could take all of the animals in the whole earth, and we could put them all together. And let's put them on your driveway, or in the parking lot in the front of your house. All of the animals of the whole world. Now, that doesn't mean just the animals on the land. That means all the sea animals. I guess they'll need a big tank of water to be on the parking space in front of your house, right? And then we'll need all the air animals, all the birds and the insects that fly, and all the things that are under the ground. All the worms and the bugs need to come up. All of those animals are on the ground in front of your house. Scientists would come along and they would put them into groups. And the 2 big groups, they would say, all you animals who have a backbone, raise your flippers and your fins and your wings, and you go over there. And all you animals that don't have any bones on your back, you go over there. And today I want us to think about, how would we know if an animal had a backbone or no backbone? And the science word for that is, if we look at a backbone is made up of lots of small bones called vertebrae. Say it. Vertebrae. Vertebrae. So the vertebrae stack together to make a backbone. So we call animals with a backbone a vertebrate. They have backbones. And we call the animals that don't have any bones, they are no bones animals. Scientists call them invertebrates, meaning no bones. So vertebrates and invertebrates. So today we're going to talk about, how would you know whether an animal had a backbone or no backbone? It's actually a little tricky, because when you look at an animal, you can't really tell. So let's look at these 6 animals that I have here. If you were going to try to find out whether any of these animals would go with the scientist into the backbone group, which ones would you pick? Here I have a snail, a squid, a turtle, a snake, an owl, and a bear. Which one would you put? Would say, all you animals who have backbones, line up over here? Who would you put over there with the backbones? Take a minute and point and tell me which ones you think have, yes, a backbone. It's okay if you don't know, because you're guessing. Right now, it's almost like you have to use X-ray vision, like you're Superman, and you can see inside the animals to see if they have backbones. And how would you know? Because you can't do that. So it's okay if you don't know. I know, because I've taught this before and I've studied it before, so I can tell you. But let's just look and guess. And right now, we're just guessing. Can you take a minute and guess? I'm not going to tell you the answers, actually. We're going to do this for a long time, so we'll find out later. But do you think a snake has a backbone? Yes? That's no. No backbone or yes backbone? How about an owl? Does an owl, where is your backbone? Can you feel your backbone? People have backbones, don't they? I can feel my backbone. Can you feel yours? Maybe you can feel your brother or sister's backbone right along the middle of your back. How about a bear? Yes or no backbone? How about a snail? Kind of like that slug I had the other day, only this one has a shell. How about a squid? He lives in the water. Does he have a backbone? And a turtle. Does a turtle have a backbone? Interesting questions. So you have a backbone. You're a person and you have a backbone. God made us special and he made us with backbones. Why did he give us a backbone? So here's a picture of a little boy and he's taking a big breath, filling up his lungs with air. And here's a picture of a skeleton, and it's kind of funny, the cat skeleton is there too. I think that's cute. And I can tell by looking at the cat that the cat skeleton has a backbone right along here. And actually his tail, the backbone starts at the base of his head and goes along his back. And actually his tail is a part of his backbone. It's his backbone that just keeps on going. Now our backbone is part of our skeleton, isn't it? And our skeleton helps protect soft and squishy parts of us, helps to hold us up. It gives us a frame to hold our muscles. So it protects your brain, it protects your lungs, and it protects the other important parts of you that are on the inside. So you have parts of you on the inside that need to be protected. So God gave you a strong and sturdy skeleton with bones. Now scientists decide whether the animals go with the bones group or the no bones group by looking at whether they have a backbone. Well, if they have a backbone, they probably have other bones too. So we would say bones, no bones. So take another look at my animals and think to yourself, bones, no bones. See if you can decide. Which ones have bones? Point to them. Which ones are you guessing, and it's okay to guess. Which ones have no bones? Okay. Now, for right now, I want to show you another paper that shows some of the insides of some animals. That might help us answer our question, right? So here, can you tell what those animals are? What are they? Well, I have an alligator, right? And this is a turtle. And I have a bird. And I think that's a dolphin. Now, look at those. Can you find the bones now? Pretty cool. They're all different because all those animals are different. I'm looking too. I think they look neat. Now, I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to mark where those bones are. I'm going to show where those bones are. You with me? Here we go. So I'm going to say all of these animals have yes bones. So here is my crocodile. Here is his, what's this part of your head? That bone part called, what is that bone? Right here called in this picture. Does anybody know a science word for this part of the bone? What's that called? It's called a skull. Cool word. Skull, say it. So here is the skull of the crocodile, and his backbone goes all the way down and out his tail. So I marked his skull and his backbone. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the turtle. Can you find his skull and his backbone? Pretty cool because it's connected to his shell. Here's his skull. Here's his neck. And that is his backbone. And this is his tail, his little turtle tail. Can you see it? All right, now let's do the same thing with the bird. See if you can find the bird's skull and his backbone and his tail. And then the dolphin's skull and backbone. So here's the bird's skull. And here's her backbone out to her tail. All right? And then the dolphin has a big skull. and then the backbone. So all of these animals have backbones. They are yes bones animals. So the scientists would say, okay, crocodiles and birds and turtles and dolphins, all of you go to that side of the driveway. You're the ones that have bones. Can you see the bones on the inside? So we've kind of answered one of our questions here, right? We answered the question that, sometimes I have to get organized. Here we go. A turtle, yes, has bones. So we could know for sure that this one has bones. Now, the only way that you could know if an animal has bones is if you could pick it up and shake it. But don't go do that because you could hurt yourself with that bear, right? But if you could hold it, you could feel on the inside, but a turtle would be a little tricky. I'm going to also show you another way you could know. You could get some books and find out from there. I like this book called Skeletons, an Inside Look at Animals. It's written by Ginny Johnson. Okay, but I just want to show you some pictures of some animal skeletons because it'll help you to be able to imagine what kinds of bones they have. In every single one of these, look for these parts. Find the skull and then find the backbone. You might also notice that this, what is this? Is it a gorilla? Has ribs. Do you have ribs? Does a dolphin have ribs? Does a snake have ribs? That's part of a skeleton, isn't it? All right, table of contents. We know this book is not fiction. This is a book that's about facts. This came to me from Leah a long time ago. All right, here is a skeleton of what? What is that? It's cool, huh? So say it with me. Skull, backbone. And his ribs actually are here. That's a fish. It's called Atlantic cod. And this little picture shows you how big the animal is compared to a grown man. Okay, if you're trying to follow along. What's this? Ooh, interesting. So a frog does have a backbone. Here's the skull. Here's the backbone. But frogs are different. They don't have any ribs. That's why they're squishy in the middle. But they do have bones. So the scientists would say, all you frogs, you have bones. Go with the bones group. How about a turtle? Ooh, turtles have bones. There's the skull. There's the backbone. Interestingly, the backbone is fused to the shell. So you know those funny cartoons where the turtle walks out of his shell? Like Franklin the turtle walks out of his shell. A turtle can't walk out of their shell. The backbone of the turtle is part of the shell. It's connected. It's one piece. It's part of his skeleton. So that is all fused together. It's like God glued it, the backbone to the shell. Ooh, what's that? That's a good one for doing skull, backbone. Mrs. Gabbard, you pointed to the tail and said backbone. I did. It's one long backbone. Does anybody know another word for backbone? What's another word for backbone? I wonder if you know. Look at that. Skull, backbone. A snake is just a backbone. A skull with backbones attached to it. Ooh, look at that. Look how strong that bone is. That's not his backbone. Here's his skull. Backbone is here. That is the part of his body called a sternum. It's the front chest bone, and that's strong because the flight muscles, the muscles that help the bird pull their wings down, is attached to that big thick bone on his chest. That's his chest bone. Ooh, same for a penguin. Look how strong that bird's chest bone is. Because he's got to have lots of muscles to make his flippers go like that, right? You picture that? Working hard as a penguin. Here's the kangaroo. Ooh, that's another good one. Find the skull. Trace it all the way down to the tail. Look at those big, strong leg bones. And these bones in his hips. You find your hip bones. Touch your own hip bones. They're kind of stick out on your waist. Can you feel them? They sit right below your belt. Those are your hip bones. I like that one. Isn't he cool? Look at his skull and his back. Look how tiny his bones are. Why do you think God made the bat with such skinny bones? And his big long fingers. Look at those. And what covers that in real life when you can see it in real life? What covers this on a bat? Pretty cool. All right, how about that one? We like that animal. It's one of our animals we've studied. Lions. Lions have strong bones and big jaws, right? Look at that strong backbone. That's an elephant seal. Look, you can really see the ribs on this one. Find your ribs. Can you find your ribs? And what's this? So remember before we said that was the size of the animal next to the grown man. There's the whale. Look at how tiny that man is. So you've got the skull and the backbone. Oh, seriously thick bones. Big, big bones on that creature. Look at that moose. I saw a moose once. In real life, I was backpacking and I was walking, and all I heard, well, I heard it before I saw it. I heard, and I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to run or to stop. And so I stopped and I waited, and it came crashing through the woods right in front of me. Well, it felt right in front of me. To be honest, it was probably a good ways away in front of me, but I could see it. And it came crashing through the woods with its big antlers. That was probably a baby. It wasn't that big. And crossed the trail and then went crashing back into the woods. And I thought to myself, I'm glad I wasn't where it was crashing through. It was not something you would want to meet. Very big, very powerful. Beautiful. Look at that beautiful horse. Oh, look at this one. Can you tell what that is? It's an upside down skeleton. So here's his skull, here's his backbone, and his tail. Yep. Almost done. And that's the picture we saw at the beginning. Okay. And then God made people special, didn't he? He made them in his image. So they are his creation. They're all his creation, but his special creation with the skull and the backbone. But we have bones too, don't we? People have bones too. That skeleton's really big. Do you remember Mr. Bones in Mrs. Littikainen's class? Kind of fun. And then these are some more words that go with bones. Now, one of the things I wanted you to notice was that when you're looking at the bones of the backbone are made up of little individual bones, not just one bone, not like a stick. Okay? More like Legos stacked on top of each other, but Legos that can move and bend, and that's why you can bend your head and your back, because those bones are lots of little bones all stacked on top of each other. All right. So boys and girls, today we talked about how scientists like to take the whole group of animals and group them into two groups, animals that have bones and animals that have no bones. Today we talked about how sometimes it's hard to tell if an animal has bones because you can't see inside the animal. So it's almost like you have to imagine inside the animal to know whether they have bones or not. We looked at our 6 animals and we said, does it have bones or no bones? So now I'm going to tell you the answer. I bet you pretty much know now. Which ones of these animals have bones? Well, a snake has bones. We saw a picture of a snake. And an owl is a bird, and that has bones. And a bear has bones. And a turtle has bones. Those all have bones. Animals that have no bones, the snail, no bones. And the squid, no bones. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about animals that have no bones. What how God made them, all the different kinds there are. There's actually so many interesting kinds. We might have to talk about that for more than one day. It is a beautiful day outside. Go outside and see if you can see some animals that have bones and no bones. Look around, enjoy this beautiful day, and remember to thank God out loud every day. Bye-bye.